as you can tell from my new background, which is behind me here, okay, and from this stack of stuff that I have here, you can tell that I am a pretty big fan of the Fallout franchise. I do love this franchise. I think that it is one of the best franchises in all of gaming. It's easily a top 5 video game franchise for me, and this video right here is my love letter to the Fallout franchise. So, without any further delays, let's just get right into it, shall we? What's going on, my fellow Vault Dwellers? It's TheMadBelmont here, and today, like I said, I want to make this video as kind of a love letter to the Fallout franchise because I am such a massive nerd for this franchise, just as much of a nerd as I am for the Castlevania series, as you can see right there by my Art of the Animated Series art book. I would argue that I am just as big of a Fallout fan as I am a Castlevania fan, okay? Not more than Castlevania, obviously, because Castlevania is my favorite franchise, but I definitely love my Fallout. And as you can tell by all the stuff that I have for it, it's a series that means a lot to me. So in this video, I kind of wanted to go over what this franchise means to me, how I got into it, you know, typical love letters sort of things. And so let's start with how I got into the Fallout franchise. I got into the Fallout franchise. Now, I am on the younger side of the gamer demographic. I am 28 years old. So I was born right around the time the original game was being developed, and I was I was 2 years old when the game came out. So, when the first game came out, that is. And that game was developed and published by Interplay, and this series was created by one Tim Cain. I love that man. He is one of my favorite developers ever. He's made not just Fallout, but a bunch of different RPGs over the years that I have really connected with in various different ways, from actually playing them to watching them and being intrigued by them. So, Tim, I love you, man. If you're watching this, you're probably not, but if you are, love you, love your work, and thank you for gracing us with the Fallout franchise. So, yeah. Oh, also, before I get into any more, Tim actually has a YouTube channel. Now, he probably doesn't need any sort of help from me, but if you love hearing about game development stories and things like that, or if you're a fellow Vault Dweller like myself and you want to know how development was on Fallout 1 and 2 and things like that, definitely go give Tim's channel a subscription. I'll leave it in the description down below, okay? So, with all that being said, like I said, I am on the younger side of things, being 28, so I got into Fallout through the Bethesda games, which actually I have my first Fallout game right here, okay, and it is Fallout 3. I got into it on the 360. Now, this is not my original copy, by the way. This is a new-ish copy of it. I got this copy around, I want to say like 2016, I'd say 2015, 2016, somewhere around there is when I got this. So, I actually got into it with this version, by the way, with the Game of the Year edition. I did get into the series with that because I got into it in 2009, okay? I had a group of friends that we would discuss games with and wrestling and movies and things like that. And when we were having one of our gaming discussions, someone in that group brought up Fallout 3, okay? And I, had just gotten into Western RPGs at the time, and that is a video for Friday, okay? So be looking forward to that, because I'm going to be talking about that. But yeah, so I had just gotten into Western RPGs like a couple years earlier. And so I was really looking for new games to play, okay? And so, new Western RPGs to play, or just RPGs, if you want to go that route. So I was looking for new RPGs, and, of course, this gets mentioned. And at the time, I had just gotten another 360, because I had one back in 2007. I bought it. I bought the, I think it was the Arcade Edition, it was called. It was like the cheapest version of the 360 that you could get back then, okay? And that one lasted me for a good year, okay? Very good year. I played a lot of games on that thing. I watched a lot of movies on that thing. I used game consoles as a movie watching device, both back then and now. And so I remember it vividly. I was watching a movie. It was Teen Wolf with Michael J. Fox. I was watching that, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I get the dreaded Red Ring of Death. It sucked. It was the worst thing that had ever happened to me up to that point, because all the consoles that I had, yeah, sure, I had problems with my NES, but I just attributed that to, it going through about a decade of wear and tear, a decade of use between me and my brother both. So that was the worst experience that I had with a console, as far as it running well and it actually working well. Up to this point with the 360, I didn't have that many problems with the PS2. There was a point where it wouldn't read the colored disc, but other than that, I didn't really have too many problems with any of the other consoles that I had. So it was really weird to me to get this console, have it for about a year, and then it just mess up. So I had to wait until tax season, my dad's tax season. I had to wait until then to get another 360. So I went and I got another 360, and I started to get into some more games. And this one was actually one of the first ones that I got into. I'll never forget it. I went to Walmart. I had just gotten, at this point, I was actually getting an allowance for working, a pretty good allowance too. Not the one that I had as a kid where I could get by on just renting games. I was actually getting a really good allowance at this point. Enough to the point where I could actually buy my own games. And I just did that, because when I was a little kid, back during the PS2 era, I only rented games. I didn't own too many. Unless someone went and bought it for me for like my birthday or Christmas or anything like that. So I started buying my own games willy fucking nilly after I go and I start earning my money through that way. So yeah, I remember I walked in, I saw this. This was like front and center in the 360 section of Walmart at the time. I went to Walmart because my dad was already there. I knew they had a games section. I knew that I could probably find this pretty easily, and I did. So it was front and center in that 360 section. It was this version, Game of the Year edition. It had just come out around that time, okay? Because I got this thing in, I got the 360 in the early part of the year, and it was around the latter part of 2009 when I finally got into this game. So I go, I buy it, and I'm reading the manual on the way home, and I'm kind of, getting the gears turning in my head, because I'm reading about all of the cool things that are tied to this game, such as VATS and the special system, and seeing these screenshots right here on the back. I don't know how well you can see them, but I saw this stuff right here, and I was like, man, I can't wait to explore this world. It's going to be really cool. And so I go home, and from the moment go, I'm hooked. Because you get that intro, you get, I don't want to set the world on fire by the ink spots, and when you see that, like, contrast of this 50s style, right? And it's like 50s technology, 50s everything. And then you see it mixed with this post-apocalyptic nuclear wasteland. It's just so cool and so intriguing. And that's what I love about this franchise, is the fact that it has that 50s style to it, while also being set in a nuclear wasteland. Like, those two styles coming together and just meshing is just, it's great. It's great. And it made for a world that is a main character in and of itself. Okay, now, I don't know about the first two games. I will be playing those this year, but I don't know about those two games. But at least with the Bethesda games, they do a great job at making the worlds that you explore from them the main character. One of the main characters, anyway. So that's what got me into this game, is running around in the wastes, shooting things, and leveling up, getting those beautiful, beautiful perks, assigning skill points to different things, and all that stuff. It was just so cool to me. And I played the absolute fuck out of this game. This game was the game for me for a good solid 3 to 4 months. Because all I would do was just play this game. I'd finish one playthrough, start another instantly. Because with the special system, which is what you see up there in the background, I have some special posters, which is each one of the special stats. And that system leads to you being able to make different builds, and it adds to the replay value of the game. And, of course, as you know with me, replay value is a big, big factor for me liking a game or not. So the fact that I can make all these different builds and stuff like that, that really got me into it. And from then on, I was hooked. I basically, anything that Bethesda did with the Fallout franchise, I was there instantly. Like, for instance, the next year, we have a little game called Fallout New Vegas published by Bethesda, but developed by Obsidian Entertainment. I adore this game. This is one of my favorite games of all time. It's easily in the top 5 RPGs ever made to me. I absolutely love and adore Fallout New Vegas. If you have not played this game, I highly suggest you do, because this is a master class in not only that open world exploration, like I was talking about with Fallout 3, but it is a masterclass in how to combine that open world exploration, making the world itself a main character, with a gripping and intriguing main quest line that has you making choices and having insane amounts of consequences. That's what I love about New Vegas. And so, yeah, and apparently, according to a lot of the Fallout community, a lot of Fallout 1 and 2's DNA is in New Vegas. So the fact that I love New Vegas, and it is 100% my favorite Fallout game. I love that game to death. So, yeah, the fact that that is a thing, that makes me want to go back and play the first 2 games, which is, like I said, I'm going to start doing that here soon. So that's basically how I got into the franchise. Started with 3 in 2009, and then it snowballed into New Vegas and 4 and 76 from there. Okay. And so now we get into why I love Fallout. What is it about this franchise that really sells me on it, that sold me on it? What was, like I was saying in the previous section, which is that open world exploration, the fact that it is, 1950s style mixed with a post-apocalyptic wasteland, that really intrigued me, because the 50s are one of the most fascinating time periods in history to me. I love the 50s. So the fact that this series has a 50s look, a 50s feel to it, and the fact that this series brings that into a post-apocalyptic wasteland really intrigued me. And so, yeah, that's one of my favorite things about it. So, another thing that really gets me going and really gets me passionate about Fallout is simply just the worlds themselves. Being able to go through these wastelands and see all these ruined buildings and see all these different villages and all these different towns that have been rebuilt in the ashes of a post-apocalyptic nuclear wasteland. Like, that's so cool to me, because I'll be exploring in these games and I'll see like this blown out skyscraper that's leaning against another skyscraper, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, oh my god, like, what could have possibly been going down in those buildings? Like, was that like a financial type of center? Was that like a stock trading center? It was just, every time I play these games, no matter whether it's 3, New Vegas, 4, I always get those type of questions. What was going on in this area at the time when the bombs dropped? Oh man, it's just, I love it. And not to mention, that's another thing that I love about this series, is the lore. The lore is so good. It's so deep. It's so interesting. If you don't know anything about the Fallout lore, definitely go look it up. There are wikis, of course, that you can read if you're a reader. If you prefer to watch things like on YouTube and such, there is a great channel that does a lot of Fallout lore stuff. His name's Oxhorn, and he goes over a lot of Fallout lore. So if you're a lore nut and you like your lore, definitely go check out Oxhorn. But yeah, so the lore, the world. Also, I like the weaponry in these games. The weaponry is very varied. Okay, you've got your normal firearms, you've got crazy contraptions like the mini nuke launcher, you've got the freaking energy weapons, you've got batons and bats and freaking 2x4s with nails on them and shit. Like, you've got a lot of different weaponry in here, and that again adds to the whole build system, and the replayability of it is mixing and matching your stat builds with the different weapons and stuff like that. Absolutely chef's kiss masterclass in that. I just love it. It's something that keeps me coming back to it on a regular basis. I still play Fallout 4 here to this day, and I have my own story about this in a future video with the midnight release of this, so be looking forward to that here in the next couple of weeks or so. I'm going to be talking about how I got this, but yeah, I did get this on release, and I got it on both PlayStation as well as Xbox. Okay, I also have Fallout 3 on PlayStation 3 as well. I don't have a PS3 copy of New Vegas, but that is going to change eventually. Also, as you saw with my art books and my strategy guides video, if you have not seen that, click the card up here in this corner. But if you did not see that video, you saw them whenever I picked the pile up. I have the Fallout 4 survival guide, and I also have the art of Fallout 4. I have those two books. Those are awesome reads, okay? Especially if you're getting into Fallout 4 and you want to kind of get everything in the game, that survival guide, good stuff. That's good stuff. That art book is also good stuff because it kind of gives you a little bit of a behind the scenes look into the development of Fallout 4. So definitely recommend that if you want to know kind of the behind the scenes of that game's development. And one of my coolest things that I have that's Fallout related, okay, other than these posters, of course, which I actually got with the survival guide for Fallout 4. By the way, these posters came in this neat little dossier here, okay? Yeah, that's pretty cool. So I have that right over here with my AC/DC Back in Black vinyl. But the coolest thing that I have is this right here. I have these Fallout 4 and Xbox One bottle caps. I got these through the GameStop Power Up Rewards program. I absolutely love these things. They are so goddamn cool. I love that. Love that. Also, another thing that I got through the Power Up Rewards program is this Fallout themed wallet. So yeah, you can tell how big of a nerd I am for this franchise. I got a fucking wallet. I got these fucking bottle caps. You know, you saw all the stuff that I have. Like, it's ridiculous just how crazy I am for this series. But at the same time, it's not really all that crazy because when you love something like I do with Castlevania and Fallout, obviously, and there's even a couple of more franchises like a Final Fantasy that you see right here, and Zelda, and fucking Mass Effect. I don't know how well you can see it, but I do have some copies of Mass Effect up there. Like, there's so many franchises that I absolutely love and adore, and I look forward to talking about all of them on this channel. But again, we're here to talk Fallout. So when you have passion for something like that, you're gonna invest as much as you can into that product that you love. Okay? That's what I'm starting to do now with Castlevania, because I finally had the opportunity to do it like I didn't as a kid, but I did have the opportunity to support things like Fallout with all this stuff that I have here. So yeah, that's basically my love letter to Fallout. I love this franchise. I cannot get enough of this franchise. Of course, with me being into playing the first two games, and I also have tactics as well. So yeah, let me get into just how many times I have bought these fucking games. Okay, now you already know with Fallout 3 and 4 how many times I bought those. I also, oh, you guys are going to think I'm nuts for this, but you're seeing screenshots on the screen right now. I have Fallout 1 and 2 on GOG. I have Tactics on GOG. I have New Vegas also on GOG that I bought because it was on sale. I also, for free, got Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3 on the Epic Games Store. And I do plan on buying Fallout 3 on GOG as well, because I do not like having DRM on my PC games. So, yeah, kind of just a little bit upset, just a tad bit obsessed with the Fallout franchise. But what do you think about that? What do you think about my love for this franchise? And also, another question is, are you just as obsessed with Fallout as I am? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to discuss this with you, with my fellow Vault Dwellers. I'm so glad that I can finally talk about this stuff now, because I have had literally just all this passion for Fallout just locked away, right? And yes, even though I do love my Castlevania, as you all know, I did nothing but Castlevania on this channel for a year. So if that don't tell you anything, okay? But I've had this passion for Fallout and all these other games just locked away, and now that I've branched out and started to do more stuff, I can let this stuff out. So, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, let me know by hitting that like button down below. That is a really good indicator that you enjoyed the video. Okay, it also helps me out with the algorithm gods. Also, if you're new around here, please subscribe. I do videos on Fallout. I'm going to start doing more on that. I'm going to start doing more on just more general gaming stuff. And I also do Castlevania videos every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, if you want to chat with me outside of YouTube, I do frequent a Discord, which is right down in the description. It's called the Radical Family Discord. Me and a bunch of my fellow Radical Losers are in there. We have a community that we've built up, and we talk about a lot of different things in there. Okay, so come on in there, join us, have chat with us. You're going to have fun in there, okay? And remember, have fun on the hunt, my fellow Belmonts and my fellow Vault Dwellers. I'll see you in the next video, and peace out.